Welcome to Tamara Tattletales. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars.
Story time on how I got married, lost my passport, changed my name, had my passport get more lost, got divorced, and tried to change my name again. Y'all, you guys ask me about my name all the time, every single day. I can't post anything without people commenting on the fact that I still have my ex-husband's last name. So here is a long-awaited update for y'all. Fair warning, this is probably going to be multiple parts, but considering how much you guys have asked, hopefully it's worth it. So in October of last year, I was already married and living in my ex-husband's house. We had not had decision day yet, but I'd already moved in. We knew we were staying married. That was what was going on. My ex-husband was having his garage built, and because of that, my car was being moved from the driveway to the street to the driveway to the street, back and forth, back and forth. During that time, my car got left unlocked, and I had an entire bag of work things stolen, including my passport. Well, when I went to try and figure out what I needed to do for my passport, I was in kind of a pickle because, again, we knew we were staying married, but I couldn't change my name legally because of the show. Like, I had to wait until after all of the episodes had aired, and we hadn't even started airing yet. We were still filming. So I sent off all of my passport information with my maiden name under the guise of you can change your name like within a year or something for free. I have no idea where my dumb ass sent all this paperwork to, but it got bounced back to me a couple months later. Like, it sat in limbo and then it got sent back to me. By the time I got all this paperwork sent back to me, I was a couple months away from being able to legally change my name. And I know so many people are like, why did you even change your name in the first place? You guys hadn't been married that long. What was the point with that? My ex-husband made it very clear to me multiple times that he thought he was more committed to our marriage than I was. And I was like, how better of a way to prove like how committed I am than changing my name? Mind you, I didn't know how the show was going to air, so I didn't know that everybody already thought I looked like I was like moving mountains anyway. But this was his complaint, and I was like, I feel like this is an easy thing to do, and if we're staying married, I have no problem changing my last name. So anyway, I wait to change my last name, and all of this is happening during COVID. So October last year, I was told I couldn't get an in-person passport appointment. And then now we're in like April, I can't get an in-person social security appointment. So once the show was airing and done, I had to send off all of these documents to get my name changed before I could even tackle this passport again. And that took weeks. Part 2 on getting married, losing my passport, changing my name, bureaucratic nightmare. So at this point, it's now like May. The show is done airing and I'm legally allowed to change my last name. Again, I'm doing this to prove my loyalty and commitment to my ex-husband. Just as like an added fun fact, when I did change my name, my ex-husband was like, isn't this like a little soon and like a little aggressive? And I was like, I did this for you, my guy, but go off. Anyway, change my name. I finally can resubmit all of this passport information. So now I have all of the normal passport forms, plus the stolen passport form from October of last year when it was stolen, lost, whatever. My name change, my marriage certificate, all this shit, plus a letter from my company saying she's a flight attendant, she needs this passport. I had expedited shipping, expedited processing, and guess what? My dumb ass sent it to the wrong place again. A different wrong place, but still not the place I guess flight attendants and pilots are supposed to send it to. And I think the passport office didn't know exactly what was going on with me because of the flight attendant. The airline was confused because COVID, because usually they just send people in person. I don't know. It was a big miscommunication between a lot of people, but I digress. Back in June of this year, I got a notification that the passport agency got all of my paperwork this time. So it was in processing. And I was like, cool, whatever. It said expedited processing was going to take like 6 weeks. No big deal. So about 5 weeks in, my ex-husband decided he wants a divorce. And I'm like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? Luckily for me, I moved back into my same apartment that I was living in before we got married. So I had an ID with like my maiden name and my old address, but all of this passport stuff is in limbo. Also, I couldn't change anything for work until my passport was changed. So half of my documents and things said Berghaus and half of my documents and things said Oubre, because it was like I was in this weird limbo until I got my passport back. I couldn't do anything. Well, when I moved back into my apartment, I emailed the passport office and was like, I need to change my address because on all of my forms it was going to go to my ex-husband's house. I didn't want that. I didn't want to have to deal with all that. We don't speak. I don't want to have to coordinate that with him. And I got an email back being like, we'll contact you in 72 hours, don't email us again. They didn't contact me in 72 hours. I emailed over the course of the last 2 months 4 times, could not get a response back from anyone. And so then I had to go on the journey of calling to get an appointment. Part 3 of getting divorced, changing my name, losing my passport, all of the drama. So at this point in time, it was like, my manager is now saying like, Clara, you have to have a passport. You are a flight attendant who hasn't had a passport for a year. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my job. So I call passport office and I'm like, look, here's what's going on. My stuff has been in limbo since June. I have had friends who don't work for airlines who have gotten their stuff back in a month. Like, something is going wrong. I don't know what's happening. I need an in-person appointment. Well, I talked to about 14 different people and they're telling me, oh, you need a letter. Oh, you need international travel. Oh, you need this, that, and the other. And then I would talk to the next person. They'd be like, well, we can't get you in. You already have an application in progress. And then I talk to the next person. They'd be like, yeah, we don't have any idea what's going on. That's just the US government for you. So anyway, I was on the phone for hours a couple weeks ago. I had basically like a panic attack. I was like, I can't be at risk of losing my job. I need an in-person appointment and I need one yesterday. I finally broke down. I'm crying on the phone and this poor woman basically took pity on me and was like, I don't think they can do anything for you, but I'll give you an appointment if you book yourself on an international flight. So I booked a flight to Amsterdam and was like, cool, I need it Tuesday, November 2nd. This morning, I finally get this passport appointment and I go in knowing good and well, I have no idea what last name that they're gonna put on this passport because again, I am still in the process of getting divorced. So I don't know if they're gonna have to process it with all the paperwork that I sent in originally, or if they're gonna have to process it with my maiden name because that way I can change it. I didn't know which way this was gonna go this morning. Anyway, I walked into the passport office this morning. The little guy behind the desk was very, very sweet. He was a Georgia fan, so I think he was being extra nice to me. And I tell him all of this whole rundown, and he basically was like, here is what we are gonna do. We are gonna put your passport through on your maiden name, otherwise you're not getting it today. And I need my passport again. And I'm like, maiden name? He says maiden name. So after everything, I had no idea which way this was gonna go this morning. I legitimately was like, if it is gonna have to be Oubre on this passport, I am committed to keeping Oubre for the rest of my life. If it's easier and this gets this problem that I've been dealing with for over a year now fixed to go back to my maiden name, then I'm going back to my maiden name. I don't care at this point. I was like, I just need to get this done. I'm sorry guys, one more part and I promise we're done. Part 4, final part of me talking about my passport change, name change, divorce shit. And this is mainly me answering questions you guys have either A, already asked, or B, I feel like you're going to ask. I wanna just put this out here, plain and simple, no bullshit. I am living my life for me. I am doing things that serve me. I am not looking for attention. I'm not looking for clout by keeping my ex-husband's last name. Y'all, it really, really genuinely was not that deep. And guess what? I don't need it. You guys really like me. You guys are wildly supportive of me. As far as the Married at First Sight fan community goes, I couldn't ask for better fan. There's zero part of me that needs to be tied to a man who doesn't want anything to do with me. Why would I want that? all of that said, I hope you guys can tell that anything I post, anything I say, isn't because I feel like I owe anyone anything, because I don't, but because I agreed when I went on reality TV to share my life with you guys, and I enjoy being transparent. I feel like you guys also appreciate that from me. I will say though, I know you guys still have a ton of questions, and I know you feel like I lied to you guys throughout the process or was hiding things, and you're not necessarily wrong. There's a lot you guys don't know, but all of your questions will be answered soon. I already have basically a tell-all ready to go. It's been filmed. It's out of my hands. I can't talk about it. I don't even know when it will air at this point in time, but you guys will have all of your questions answered. And then after that, I'm gonna ask you guys a huge favor, and that we can all put this behind us, and then I don't really have to dwell on this part of my life anymore. Obviously, getting married was a huge thing. Going on TV, huge thing. Getting divorced, huge thing. But that's not my entire personality. The TikToks I post, the Instagrams I post, I'm not talking about my ex-husband, because as far as relationships in my life go, this one wasn't it. It just wasn't it. I'm not looking for attention from a man who I also don't really want anything to do with, you know? And I'm dating other people. So yeah, sometimes I'm looking for attention from men, but like not that man, okay? Like we're done with that one. We're moved on. So thank you genuinely for the support. Hopefully this answered some of your questions. Hopefully we can move on from this part. And then once my little like question thing comes out, we can put this behind us and start 2022 fresh.